What's up guys, Kaio-chan here, and welcome to my Bakemonogatari Ghost Story Episode 6 review. This episode had Woman's Vengeance written all over it. Just a note to you guys, if you have a girlfriend and she's like Senjugahara, I would suggest that you never mention another woman's name in her presence, unless of course you want to get the beatdown that Kiyomi got at the end of this episode. It was awesome, yet terrifying, and I'm sure her like a you-know-what, but I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit here. Let's bring it back to the beginning of this episode. So for episode 6, once again, we get splashes of that crazy animation that we all know and love. And I think that this episode really benefited from that style, because it really just built up all of the mystery and just all the emotions that you're going to feel throughout this episode. So at the very start of the episode, we get splashes of monkeys. So apparently we're dealing with a monkey apparition. I'm not quite sure because I didn't read ahead to really find out what the deal, what this all was. But we are in a new story arc that involves a monkey. I'm not quite sure what kind of monkey we're dealing with, but that's what we're going towards. So after we get some information about some of the characters we're going to meet throughout this episode, we go to Kiyomi. And Kiyomi is on his way to Senjugahara's place. And while he's traveling, he runs into Hachikuji. And once again, Hachikuji is just pushing his buttons, saying his name wrong on purpose, and kind of teasing him about aspects of romance. Because she found out that Senjugahara and Kiyomi are dating officially. And she's kind of teasing him, saying, oh, you're not going to go over there to study. You're going to be checking her out and doing some naughty things with Senjugahara and everything. And he's just like, no, I'm not. I'm going there to study. Of course, we all know that he's probably not going to be studying. It's just impossible to do that when you have a girlfriend and you love her and all this stuff is happening. So no studying is getting done throughout their session together. So as the two of them are conversing with one another, we also see these flashes of this woman running, and we don't know who she is quite yet, but we're going to meet her in a few more minutes. Without much warning, that mysterious woman who we saw earlier finally arrives, jumps over Kiyomi, lands in front of him, and then begins this conversation. We find out that this woman is an underclassman of Kiyomi's, and her name is Kanbara. And the two of them just start this long conversation from politics to what are you doing today. And there's two things that we really need to take away from this whole entire conversation. The first is the discoloration and the just odd appearance of her arms. Because at one point, we see her leaning up against this chain link fence, and her arm is kind of shaded out. It doesn't really look right. So that really clues us into her paranormal issue. I'm not quite sure what it means just yet, but there's something not quite right there. And then there's her interesting yet mysterious relationship with Senjugahara. Because at one point throughout their conversation, Kiyomi mentions that he's going to someone's house to study, and the first person that she thought of was Senjugahara. And we all know that there's another smart person in their class that he could have gone to see to get tutoring from. So it was a little odd that she knew that he was going to Senjugahara's. So after this whole entire conversation winds down, Kanbara goes on her way, and Kiyomi heads to Senjugahara's. When he's there, just like Hachikuji said, he wasn't really there to study. He was there to check out Senjugahara. And the two of them start having this conversation, starting off with what they're going to be doing in their future. What are they really going to do after school? Are they going to go to college? Are they going to go to work? What's going to happen? And that morphs into a conversation where Kiyomi is trying to figure out what's part of Senjugahara's past. And that's kind of normal because you really want to know everything you can about the person that you're intimate with. And the mention of Kanbara's name brings Senjigahara into this rage, and she comes at him with the mechanical pencil that she was writing with and nearly takes his eye out. She calms down after he explains why he brought her up and why he was thinking about her, and we find out that Kanbara was a friend of Senjigahara's in middle school, and that the two of them were aces of their respective clubs. Senjigahara was for the track team, and Kanbara was for basketball. And, you know, the two of them had their interactions, and Kanbara actually found out about Senjigahara's paranormal issue a year before Kiyomi did, but instead of really pushing the issue, she kind of backed away, and the two of them became virtual strangers. But there is one thing to note, and this is why I said before that this whole episode had woman's rage written all over it, was because at one point, Kanbara was really devoted to Senjigahara, and just the fact that someone else is in her life could really throw that out of proportion. So we find out their backstory, and after Kiyomi leaves to go to Oshino's house to deliver the last of Senjigahara's payment, he starts trying to really dig into all this. He calls our cat lady, and she really just gives us all of those details about how they were friends in middle school, and how, you know, it's really not wrong of him to want to know all this information, which I think can really relate to people in real life. That it's not wrong to want to help somebody, it's not wrong to want to know more about their life, especially if you're going to be connected in an intimate way. And as he's getting to the railroad track, he is suddenly attacked out of nowhere. This apparition shows up. It's covered, it has a blackened face, all you really see is its eyes, and it just beats the bloody heck out of Kiyomi. And that just came out of nowhere. I was like, what? So, and that's pretty much where the episode leaves off. It leaves off with him bloody and beaten on the ground, and then suddenly Senjigahara shows up and hands him the envelope that he was supposed to give to Oshino. So, a very crazy episode, starting off with casual conversation, ending up in a total hand whooping. I mean, really, this guy just got punched out like you wouldn't believe. It's a good thing that he still has supernatural powers, or he wouldn't have survived that, most likely. So, very action-packed, emotionally driven episode. This new story arc really had a solid foundation. This was a great opening episode for this particular story arc. I really liked the progression from that relaxed, comedic beginning all the way to the epic beatdown at the end of this episode. It was just a nice build-up. There was lots of character development, which is needed with a short anime series. We got to find out more about Senjigahara. We found out about Kanbara, and we found out about their interactions, and we get to see a little bit more into how Kiyomi feels about Senjigahara. So there's lots of development, lots of build-up, lots of mixed emotions. Very solid episode. Probably would give it a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10. There really isn't anything wrong with it. There was a nice splash of that crazy animation that we all know and love. Just pretty solid all around. The opening sequence, really enjoyed that. It was so much better than the one for the Hachikuji story arc. The visuals, the music, everything was pretty catchy. So, pretty solid. And I'm really looking forward to checking out episode 7. I will hopefully get that review up sooner than later. I'm just trying to juggle everything that's been going on lately. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode and this review in the comment section below. and I will see you guys next time. Bye!